Alrighty, YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. So Daniel Jeremiah, one of the most known draft analysts, spoke to national media on a conference call on Wednesday, and he said that he believes Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham would fit seamlessly into Chris Kocurik's defensive line group with the 49ers. He said when they were picking out 11, they were going to be able to get a really good player. With Mason Graham, we talked about him as one of the top players in the draft. I'll be curious to see how he goes through the spring. As I mentioned, I think his tape is so good, but I'm sure he's going to totally ace the spring part of it. If you are looking for someone who I think would be a home run pick for them, what's the dream scenario? To me, it would be if Mason Graham were to fall down to them where they could scoop him up and pick him up. And I'll be the first to say I'm with Daniel Jeremiah on this. I think it's very unlikely that Mason Graham slips down to the 49ers at pick 11. But I've seen crazier things. I mean, I didn't think Michael Penix was going to the Atlanta Falcons last draft, but he did, and that really shook up the first 10 picks in the draft because there was really good players who fell farther with a shocking pick like Michael Penix was to the Falcons. So there could definitely be some surprising picks within the first 7-8 picks. And one of them could be Mason Graham sliding down to the 49ers at pick 11. And if that's the case, I think you have to grab him. He's 6'3", 320 pounds. He's listed as Pro Football Focus's number 4 overall prospect. He lined up predominantly in the B gap with Michigan over his collegiate career. He registered 12 sacks, 17 hits, and 47 quarterback hurries. Super effective against the run as well. He had 108 tackles, 60 solo, and 18 for a loss over his collegiate career. I think everything about Mason Graham is what the 49ers need. This is a guy that can absolutely bolster this defensive line to a whole nother level. And the 49ers would be able to get a cornerstone defensive tackle that they haven't been able to have since DeForest Buckner was here. Mason Graham, freak of an athlete. Again, to me, it's very unlikely that he drops to the 49ers and falls to them at pick 11. But if he's there, you absolutely have to take him. I think, it's going to be tough to see this happening, but it is worth noting that I think the 49ers, without a doubt, would draft Mason Graham at pick 11 if he falls. Obviously, we understand what's going on with Javon Hargrave. He's set to test the open market. The 49ers will release him this offseason. And the team has interior defensive linemen that consist of Jordan Elliott, Malik Collins, Kalia Davis, and Evan Anderson. All those guys are currently under contract. I will say this too. I mean, even though Daniel Jeremiah believes that, the 49ers could go defensive tackle at pick 11, defensive tackle is a very, very deep position in this draft. There are multiple defensive tackles. There's going to be a lot of good, productive defensive tackles that come out of this draft. So, they could potentially wait until like day 2 to pick up a defensive tackle and still get a player who will be able to kind of contribute in their rookie season. But Mason Graham is a guy that, is a no-brainer for the 49ers if he falls to 11. I don't really care who's there. I mean, obviously, if Abdul Carter falls to 11, you absolutely have to take him, but that's not happening. I think Abdul Carter might go number 1. I think that's kind of been the belief over the last couple weeks. But a lot of mock drafts have Mason Graham sliding just in or out of the top 5. I haven't really seen too many mock drafts recently that have him falling to like pick 8 or 9 or something. Like this guy is you know, a luxury of a pick for any team that drafts him. And there's going to be teams in front of the 49ers that are in need of defensive tackles, but again, there can always be a surprise like there was last year with Atlanta taking Michael Penix, and that could potentially cause Mason Graham to slide down to the 49ers and into their lap at pick 11. So we will see what happens, but I'm definitely with Daniel Jeremiah here. This is a home run pick for the 49ers if they can somehow get him at pick 11. And again, I don't care who's there. I don't care if Tyler Warren's there, Will Johnson. Mason Graham is a guy that you absolutely cannot pass up. While I'm fine with Will Johnson and some of the edge rushers that have been linked to the Niners, like Mike Green, Jalen Walker, Mikael Williams, even some of the interior guys like Walter Nolan, Shamar Stewart. I mean, all of these guys would be great picks for the 49ers at 11. But Mason Graham's a home run pick. And the 49ers would absolutely be in a situation where this defense, this defensive line gets taken to a whole nother level. And obviously, if they're able to get Mason Graham, fantastic. But they still need to draft edge rushers and whatnot later on, and on day 2 and maybe even day 3, which I expect them to do. But Mason Graham's a guy that you can't pass up on. So let me know what you guys think of Daniel Jeremiah saying that Mason Graham to the 49ers would be a home run selection. I mean, if he falls to pick 11, would you guys take him? I think everybody would probably do that. But again, it's really hard for me to fathom him dropping to pick 11. But if it happens, man, the 49ers made out. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. As always, go Niners. I'll see you guys in the next one.